Hi and welcome to today's video. So we are still on the grocery saving challenge. We were saving 20% this month if you participated in the challenge. And then on this day, seeing that it is at the end of the month for me, I need to reconcile the month and just keep track of the grocery spending, see what actually happened, because you may have a plan, but you also need to assess how that plan went or how you were able to execute things. So tracking your grocery spending is one of those crucial habits that you need to develop as a homemaker, especially when you want to wisely build your home economy. So now, when you want to assess what is happening, before you can devise any strategy, before you can build systems, you need to actually know what is happening. So for this, you need actual data, you need actual information. So that is why when it comes to my groceries, I always tend to keep my receipts. I keep my receipts mainly because I want to see how much I spend. And number two, I want to see what I bought, because sometimes we can think that groceries are expensive. We can think, yes, they are, but sometimes they are even more expensive because we tend to buy wants over needs. We tend to buy things that are overpriced, like your already chopped vegetables, your already chopped fruit, those conveniences and those processed foods. Whereas if we could adopt a ingredients only pantry, then we would save a lot of money. Then we would stretch our budget. I have two printables with me, which are going to be available for you in the description box. They are essentially the same printable. This one is just that it has the gingham pattern on it, and this one is just a plain one for anyone who feels like, I don't want to be printing in color, and I don't want to be having all this detail on my worksheet. I just want something plain. So I made sure that I make two types of these sheets so that you can pick the one that you want. We are also going to use our Home Economist Planner for this. But first and foremost, we need to start with reconciling the month. And then I usually do this for groceries, because groceries is usually that area that is troublesome if left unchecked. But also you need to assess those areas in your budget, in your household, that are maybe you tend to overspend. So if it's clothing for you, then this is something that you need to do also for clothing, and track your clothing expenditure very carefully. Whatever it is that you know that if you didn't keep a close eye on it, it will quickly get out of control, then track those areas. So I have my receipts with me. This is how we are going to reconcile the month. And then here the sheet says, okay, this is the month of, this was, I'm going to say 25 April to 25 May. So it's 25 April to 25 May. And my grocery budget was 6,000. All right. And then what did I actually spend? I'm going to calculate that. And then what was the difference? Okay, so we're going to do that at the end. And then on the first page, there is a space for reflection. So what worked well this month? You're going to ask yourself the question, what worked well this month? For me, what worked well was actually going back to buy my groceries in cash. Sometimes I tend to get lazy to go and get the money out cash, and then sometimes I'll just swipe using my card and then think that, okay, fine, I'll just track how much I spend. But I find that sometimes that is just a tedious process for me. Maybe for you it's not, but for me. And then sometimes what I would do is I would then have a designated bank account, where I will just transfer the entire grocery budget there, and then in that account, the only money that is sitting there is the money that is actually supposed to be spent for groceries. But I also find that sometimes I would then overspend and not just spend the money that I had allocated for my 2 weeks. Maybe I would spend even more, maybe because I'm buying bulbs, or I would be buying food, but I would overspend. And then after that, maybe towards the end of the month, I don't have enough money. Then I would then take money from my savings and then top up that grocery budget. So these are the things that I used to do before. So now I've actually proven to myself this month that the cash route for me is the best. And also allocating money for the weeks and just taking the money that I have to the shops worked well for me. So what I did was, because my first 2 weeks I had a 2,900 budget, I just took the 2,900 budget with me to the stores and I didn't take my additional cards. So that system is working well. So that is what I'm going to write here, where it says what worked well this month. So you also sit down and ask yourself what worked well this month in your grocery budget, and then where did I overspend or where did I waste? And this is where your receipts will come in handy, because you will get to see, okay, fine, what did I really buy with this money? It's not enough that you know how much you spend, but you also need to scrutinize your grocery receipts and see, what did I actually buy? I'm going through my lists. So another thing, I don't see any thing that I regret that I bought for this month. I don't see anything wasteful that I bought. But another thing that I'm also going to check is I'm going to go in the fridge and then just check if we had waste in the fridge, if there's food that we threw away, or leftovers or whatnot. Then I can also put here, where did I overspend? I might not have overspent, but the second question that I need to ask myself is that, was there any waste? Because part of building the home economy is that you need to be diligent and you need to be faithful, right? So diligent in making sure that you are keeping track, you are knowing exactly what is happening in the home, and faithful is, making sure that the grocery budget that you do allocate, that you do have, you make sure that you do the utmost best with it. So we also need to go in the fridge, look at the things that potentially we are throwing away. I know there's a celery that we didn't finish. I bought because I wanted to juice, and then I cooked with it, but my kids don't know how to cook with celery, and as a result, and they were cooking, and as a result they didn't fully utilize that celery, and I remember that's the only thing that is waste. Okay, so I will say celery was wasted. And these notes are going to help me in the future, because as I sit down and plan for next month, I will know that, okay, fine, I need to keep my eye on this and I need to keep my eye on that. Okay, and then here it says, the next question says, what changes will I make next month? Okay, so this is where now we are going to do another exercise before we answer that question, and then also there's a space for next month's grocery goal. So now here it's going to be spending by category. These two sheets are spending by category. So here the first one is going to look at the staples. So before we do that, I just want to add up all my receipts and see how much I spent in total on groceries for this month. But one thing I do know is that I did very well, because remember I say we had the 20% that I saved on the side. I did save that, and then I was happy on the way that I used it, because some of it I used it towards getting blankets, and then some of it I took 500 rand and then I bought a training. So I was very happy that I was able to do that. So now I just want to add my receipts and see how much that I've spent. So this receipt says here that I spent 598.89 plus this one I spent 308.17 plus, okay, this one, the whole total I put it here, 1591.53 plus I remember that I spent also 300 for meat. I didn't get a receipt for that. And then also the last one, this one I spent I'll say 210 plus 600 rand, because I remember I went and I bought hair stuff. And I bought a pack of toothpaste. So I remember that was 600 rand. Okay, so in total for this month I have spent 3,600. So what was the actual spend? The actual spend was 3,608 and then 0.59. And then I will just take my 6,000. I will minus this 3,608.59 equals, the difference was 2,391.41. So in total, let me just check how much percent that is. So I saved roughly 35 to 38%, right? So I did above and beyond what I had planned for. That is why it's important for you to keep the receipts. So what you do then with the receipts, I'm not going to do everything here with you because it's going to take a while. But what you need to do is, with a highlighter, get different colors of highlighters, and have a color for your staples, have a color for your protein, have a color for maybe your produce, have your color for non-foods, that is your toiletries and your cleaning supplies, and then maybe have another color for snacks, processed foods, drinks, and then other conveniences. Have maybe different colors so that you can then highlight your receipts and see actually what you've bought and be like, okay, fine. For protein, how much did I spend? For produce, how much did I spend? For other conveniences, for toiletries, how much did I spend? Each and every category, add it up and see how much you have spent in that category, so that next month when you plan for your next grocery shopping trip, when you plan for the month, you are making data-based decisions because you have the information, and now you can make informed decisions because you know what is going on in your budget. So I'm going to do this as well. I'm going to complete this and get my stationery and complete this, and then afterwards I'm going to be able to plan for next month. So I'm going to give myself another goal for the next month. Let me know if you're going to continue with a grocery saving challenge, or you're going to do something else, because sometimes you can save in your groceries, but other times you can decide that, okay, fine, this next month or in the next month, I want to actually bulk up, especially when it comes to pantry staples. For me, I want to top up my canned goods, because I realize that I'm running out on most of the things that I use that are canned products. I haven't bought those in a while, so I want to stock up. And especially when, after I've saved so much in 1 month, I realize that, okay, fine, I know next month I'm going to run out of certain things, because I also use some of the things that I have bulked on. So I might probably need to do a bulk shopping trip to top up on essentials for the next month. So my goal for next month is going to be different. Obviously, it's not going to be the 20% saving challenge. Let me know if you want me to let you know what I'm going to be doing next month in the groceries. Why is it important to track your spending? Number one, it helps you to stay within your budget, right? So when you know what your budget is and you know exactly what you're spending on and you track your spending, it will help you to stay within your budget, right? When you look at something closely and you pay attention to it, you are going to improve that area. Tracking your spending also helps you, it reveals to you your spending patterns, right? It reveals your spending patterns. Sometimes you think that, okay, fine, there's nothing really I can do about my grocery budget. It is what it is. I need to spend all this money. But you will be amazed when you start to break it down, when you start to track, and not just track the amount, but track what you are buying. Track what you are buying. Put were you buying a lot of staples? Were you buying a lot of protein? Were you buying a lot of produce? What are you really buying? Are you buying a lot of conveniences? Are you buying a lot of snacks? Because when you figure out what is happening with your grocery spending or with your food budget, then you are going to be able to then come up with a strategy to improve that area. For example, if you are a person who is constantly buying takeaways, you are spending money on takeaways, then you can then come up with a better plan and say, you know what is it that I usually buy, those takeaways that I enjoy? Can I make those things from home? And why am I spending on takeaways? Maybe do I need to prep my meals in advance so that I have my food ready in the fridge, versus waiting for you to be, when you're hungry and there's nothing that is ready for you, and then you go and you buy those takeouts because at that point in time you are hungry and you just have to buy those things because you don't want to stand and cook. Another thing could be that maybe when you're out, that's when you tend to buy takeaways. For me, what I do when I go shopping, I usually eat before I go. And then I will have some sort of a snack in my bag, or some sort of a fruit or some sort of a drink that I carry from home, and then I go and I shop. And then afterwards, then I will make sure that I go shopping and buy the things that I need to buy, then come back home and eat from home, to avoid spending that odd money on takeaways, because it quickly adds up. And before we go on to the Home Economist Planner on our Trello board, so that we can track all this and keep good records, this is something that I want to say, is that you don't have to wait for the entire month to end before you track your spending. Usually, I think the best way is to do it weekly. I have been busy lately, so I couldn't do this on a weekly basis, but I know that it is going to be better for me to do it weekly versus doing it monthly. Because if you are doing it weekly, if let's say you're shopping weekly or bi-weekly like me, so I need to actually do it bi-weekly, because after then I go shopping, then I can sit down and say, okay, fine, what did I buy? Then I can fill this in. Okay, I can fill it in as I have my receipt, so that I make sure that receipt doesn't get lost, because sometimes you misplace the receipts. And then another thing could be, if you think you're going to misplace the receipt, just take a picture of the receipt so that you have it on your phone as well. And then if you overspend on that week or on that bi-weekly period, then at least what you can do is then you can strategize and plan better for the next coming 2 weeks or the next coming week, however way you do your grocery shopping. So it's important that you do this after your shopping trip. Obviously, at the end of the month, you will need to reconcile and see that where you are on track, what happened, where was the area of waste, because also you need to make sure that you are eliminating waste in your kitchen as much as possible. So now we are going to go on to the Home Economist Planner, and then that's where we're going to track our spending. On there, we will focus on the food management card. So we're going to go to grocery shopping budget tracker. That one, we click on it, we're going to open it. So what I did here, I made sure that I put the this month that I am tracking for, which is the 25th of April to the 25th of May. So what I'm going to do is totally up to you if you want to have a total for week 1 and week 2, week 3 and week 4. For me, this one is not gonna work, so I'm just going to delete these and do it and say week 1 and 2, then save that, and then add another one, week 3 and 4. Then I will have my total. So for week 1 and 2, I actually spent 1,791.50. That is for week 1 and week 2. Okay. And then for week 3 and 4, because my total was 3608.50, 0.59 minus 1791.50. So week 3 and 4, I spend 1,817.09. So in total, I spend 3,608.59. The next following month, you will know that this is what you spend in this month, and then next month, and going forward, you will track, and at the end of the year, you are going to have a good idea on how much you are really spending on your groceries. So here, when it comes to the description, I have then done main notes. So main notes, once I complete these pages, then I will know how much I spend on meat. I will know how much I spend on produce, because on meat I have to, yes, my red meat I buy separately, but I'll have to add my chicken as well and see how much I spend on that. I have to then put how much I spend on produce, how much I spend on cleaning supplies, how much I spend on sweets and snacks, pantry staples, baked goods, and toiletries, and that becomes my notes. And if you want to take it a step further, you can then add what worked well for you. If you don't want to print out these sheets, you don't have to, but you can use them. You can just open up and look at the questions and save the questions and your answers in the description, and then you just click save. That way it is going to be there. Then for the next month, you're going to come here and say checklist, and then for the next month, it's going to be 25 May to 25 June. However way your month starts. Your month may be from the 1st to the 31st, and so forth and so on. It may be from 15 to 15. It may be from 20 to 20. It's totally up to you. But for me, it's 25 to 25. So I'm going to then be tracking. I haven't bought anything grocery-wise for the new month. I'm still going to strategize and plan. That is why I wanted to reconcile everything before I started the new month, and I wanted to touch base with you. So let me know how it is going with your grocery saving. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Remember these sheets, the monthly grocery reconciliation sheets, are in the description box. There's 2 variations of them. Pick and choose the one you have. And remember, if you don't have a printer, don't stress out. As long as you have your Home Economist planner, you are good to go. You can then just take the questions, put them into your Home Economist planner in the description box, and that can work well for you. For me, I do this, and then what I do is I will come back and actually show you, but I then file them. I put them in a file of my records. I keep them, and then I will have these are going to go under the tab for that month. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to be doing that also for clothing and maybe things that we buy for the house, so that we can track our expenditure and see actually where our money is going. We really want to build a home economy, so we need to understand what is it that we are doing with the money that we have. So thank you so much for joining me today, and stay blessed.